Good afternoon and welcome to this a brand new season in our first episode of American Education and Policy. This is Dr. Leah Lester and I'm so delighted to talk with you today. I want to discuss the United States Department of Education is still relevant. During a time where one of the candidates, Donald Trump, has proposed that if he wins the election, he will remove the Department of Education. I just wanted to talk about that some because when I was a young girl, I remember Ronald Reagan was the president. Although he worked to remove the Department of Education, he was unsuccessful, and I felt unaffected by his efforts at that time. What has alerted me most recently has been the endeavors of the Republican Party under former President Trump to remove the Department of Education and to place it in the hands of the states. That's what he has promised. He says if he becomes president, he will remove the Department of Education. Well, the dismantling of essential laws and departments appears to be the driving force of Republicans. While the Department of Education has served productively to ensure accountabilities and guarantee access for all American students, the efforts to remove the department remain still a priority for Republicans. Fears for control and power of the department are evident as they appear to lose perspective of the accomplishments and how students have achieved under the department's policies. Therefore, I wish to briefly explore some thoughts regarding the Department of Education and its relevance. The Secretary of Education, Michael Cordova, was appointed by President Joe Biden. His initiatives have been many for bringing equity and excellence to the table. Many readiness opportunities in the United States education today are made possible by the United States Department of Education. The Department of Education of the government coordinates most federal assistance programs and establishes educational policies. The agency assists the president in executing the nation's policies and implementing the laws established by Congress. The mission is to serve American students while promoting student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness. This is done as they foster educational excellence and ensure equal access. The role of the department to the nation. Congress created the department in 1979 to ensure equal access to educational opportunities and to complement and supplement state efforts from local school systems and private sectors, including public and private institutions, nonprofit research institutions, community-based organizations, students, and parents to improve the quality of education. They all encourage parents, students, and the public to be involved in federal government. Their role is to foster federal support for research, improvement of the quality of education, evaluation, and sharing of information. They coordinate federal education programs while working to improve the management efficiency of federal activities, the program's respective administrative structure, and procedures for dispersing funds and reducing unnecessary duplicate constraints and burdens, including unnecessary paperwork of federal funds recipients. They exist to increase the accountability of federal education programs to Congress, the public, and the President. The department's history. President Andrew Johnson originally designed the department in 1867 to collect statistics and data about the nation's schools. In 1868, the department was demoted to an Office of Education for fear it would exercise too much control over local schools. The office remained small and over the years and was once housed under the United States Department of Health, Education, and Welfare and the U.S. Department of the Interior. So the department was housed in various departments, but President Jimmy Carter became president and he signed new legislation to establish a separate education department in 1979, supported by the National Education Association. Since 1981, under President Ronald Reagan, Republicans have tried to remove the department. Under his secretary, Terrell H. Bell, Reagan tried to convert the department into a small foundation for conducting research but not to provide direction or control. Fear of having too much control and providing direction have been the concerns throughout the years. Also, former President Trump has suggested the removal of the Department of Education. His claim is to put it back into the hands of the states. He says that the department hates our children. In his first 180 days, Project 2025 plans what the Heritage Foundation conservative think tank calls a vision for conservation administration in the first 180 days. Proposals include phasing out $1.6 billion in IDEA program for students with disabilities while blocking grants or private school choice offerings. They plan to eliminate the United States Department of Education. The plan will shrink the federal government's role in K-12 educational policy. New rules, including Title IX laws, will need to be rewritten to reverse efforts to cancel student debt. The proposal would dramatically alter the creation of Title I, which began in 1965. Decades of precedent would be reversed. School districts and states would need to figure out how to reallocate resources. As with Title I, some states might need to create a program to supply schools with resources for vulnerable students, while others may not. To shift the IDEA program from the United States Department of Education to the United States Department of Health and Human Resources may prove chaotic. We must remember that the Elementary and Secondary Act was enacted in 1965 as Title I was crafted to discourage massive gaps from one state to another in school funding. The broader ESEA was President Lyndon Johnson's law and platform for a war on poverty. States with a more extensive tax base than the others have a larger pool of resources to devote to K-12 education. Schools in New York, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania get more than $20,000 per student from local and state sources, while states like Utah, Idaho, and Arizona get $10,000 per student. Title I funds many of the nation's highest poverty schools out of the 13,000. Lyndon Johnson was one of my favorite presidents I read about, as he spoke of compassion and awareness of the issues regarding curing poverty, as he proposed efforts to solve education for the poor and proposed creating jobs for the jobless and those kept out of prosperity. He had concern for them. He also solved problems of caring for the elderly in the hospitals and provided civil rights for African Americans. He was quite a unique president. State's Department of Education has served American families since 1969, making initiatives possible for underserved students and underprivileged, those with special needs, and all American students, providing equal access to education. That proves relevant. Equity, excellence, career and college readiness, and global competitiveness have been the impetus for all learners. They are relevant today as they have existed under various committed leaders who have sustained the department's mission and goals as they have ethically served the nation. According to United States News World Report, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and United Kingdom, Germany, and Canada are the most significant nations with well-developed and robust public education systems. Countries with vital public education are said to be higher achievers. My argument questions why one would tear down what has been an asset to the nation. Many questions are aroused regarding motives for tearing down this department, as consequences of negative results will manifest in the United States. Therefore, I believe that we must try to uphold what is good and stand against those who wish to tear down our essential institutions. Replacing them must prove more than a concept. And I thank you. There's so much more we could say about this topic. Today, by the way, is November 5th, and I just felt so compelled to do this podcast today and to remind us that this is a serious matter, and if the election proves to move into the favor of the Republicans, the promise to remove a vital institution from our country will occur. So my last sentence was, replacing this institution, replacing this department must prove more than a mere concept. So therefore we must be on the alert. Until we meet again, I just want to say thank you again, and may God bless you and your family. And I thank you for joining me here on American Education and Policy.